Our focus standard for this lesson comes from Grade 7, Number Systems, Standard 2. Apply and extend previous understandings of multiplication. Our topic for this unit comes from our multiplying and dividing integers, multiplying on a number line. Our essential question is, how can we use a number line to model multiplying integers? Please take a moment pausing the video if you need to copy down the topic and essential question into your header along with today's date, sub the question column and the note column, and resume the video when you're ready to begin. We're going to start with a little fact about things to remember when multiplying integers. So it's important to note that the sign of the first factor tells you the number of jumps and whether you're going to jump the same or opposite direction as the sign of the second factor. So we're going to do 4 examples today to talk about these types of rules. Let's go ahead and look at our first set of problems. So our first 2 examples are going to be where the first factor is positive. What that means is we are going to jump that many times in the same direction as the sign of the second factor. Let's take a look at the first problem. Our first problem is 2 times 3. You can see the first factor is 2, so that means we're going to jump 2 times, and since it's positive and we're multiplying by a positive, we're going to jump in the positive direction, the same direction as the second factor. And then once again, this is a math fact that I know you have memorized, but once again, we want to practice it on a number line. So we're going to start at 0, and we're going to make 2 jumps of 3 in the positive direction. So here's our first jump to 3, and our second jump of 3 will then take us to 6. So 2 jumps in the same direction as positive 3, and 2 times 3 is 6. So our final answer is 6. Let's try the next one. So here, for our second example, we have 4 times negative 2. The first factor is positive, so we're going to jump 4 times. And since it's positive, in the same direction as the sign of the second factor. So 4 jumps in the negative direction, since our second factor is negative 2. And we're going to cover 2 each time we jump. So let's check that out on the number line. Let's start at 0, and we're going to jump 4 times in the negative direction. So first jump takes us to negative 2. Second jump takes us to negative 4. Third jump takes us to negative 6. And our fourth jump will take us to negative 8. So the final answer is negative 8. 4 times negative 2 equals negative 8. So those were our 2 examples where we start with a positive first factor. Now let's take a look at 2 more examples when the first factor is negative. If our first factor is negative, it means that we are going to jump that many times in the opposite direction as the sign of the second factor. So we have negative 3 times a positive 3. So we're going to jump 3 times. We're going to jump towards the negatives, because that's the opposite of a positive 3. So once again, start at 0. We're going to make 3 jumps. Since we're multiplying by a positive, we're going to jump the opposite direction. So our first jump takes us to negative 3. Our second jump takes us to negative 6. and our third jump takes us to -9. You can think of this where we face the same direction, so we face the directions of the positives, but go backwards, right? So -3 times 3 equals -9. Here's our fourth example. -2 times -5. So once again, our first factor is negative, so it does tell us that we're going to jump 2 times, but because it's negative, we're going to jump the opposite direction of the sign of the second factor. Since the second factor here, -5, is a negative, we're going to jump towards the positives. So starting at 0 to multiply by a -2 by a -5, we're going to make 2 jumps in the positive direction. Our first jump will take us to +5, and our second jump will take us to +10. And that is going to be our final answer. So -2 times -5 equals +10. That's going to conclude our video lesson for today. Please make sure that your notes are complete and come ready to work more with multiplying integers and see if you can figure out what the rules are.